we have been reading from the Bible and from the Red-Headed Hostess. Those are my favorite places to read from. So David prays that the Lord will hear in the time of trouble. The Lord saves his anointed. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Okay, so remember the Psalms are not all written by David, but most of them are. So it's just something that's interesting. I didn't know that there were some that weren't written by David. I thought honestly all of them were. So that's a fun fact. Okay, so the Lord hear thee in the day of trouble, which, holy smokes, today feels like a day of trouble for me. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings and accept thy burnt sacrifice. Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart and fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in the salvation, and in the name of our God we will set up our banners. The Lord fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I that the Lord saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save the Lord. Let the King hear us when we call. Okay, isn't that beautiful? That's just like a short, sweet psalm, and it's a petition for strength. So this is what the redheaded hostess says. She says, "This is a before psalm. David was about to go to battle. Imagine what that must have been like. Every time he went to battle, the enemy was waiting with chariots and swords, and David needed to lead his army to victory. If not, then his entire people could be conquered." So the first 5 verses are a prayer from the people. It is possible that his people were in fact praying for David. Then David captured the moment by writing this psalm. The prayer is full of the people's petition to the Lord for help, strength, defense, and the promise that if they are victorious, they will credit the Lord for it. They were already planning the celebration and the banners they will set up. It's interesting. Today already it's like 9, and I feel like I've fought a long battle already with the adversary. He's trying really hard. And these scriptures are just like awesome for me right now. And it's hard because sometimes we feel like we are fighting these battles all alone. And then we read our scriptures and we're like, they were fighting similar battles, but maybe in real life, maybe with real armies. But our battles are, like they say, in the deepest chambers of our hearts, right? Then verse 6, it says, David then speaks in first person and expresses his confidence that the Lord will protect him. David was no stranger to battle, and he knew that the kings trusted their chariots and horses, and though David had those, his ultimate trust was in the Lord. David had learned this in his very first battle against Goliath. With only a sling in his hand and rocks in his shepherd's bag, no chariot and no armor, but armed fully in faith and the strength of the Lord, David conquered. David's faith in that battle carried into his future battles. He knew that his enemies would be brought down and they would fall. To have that kind of faith, where can you take confidence from in your life where the Lord has fought your battle for you? And if you can't remember, we can at least remember David's story, right? If we can't remember in our own lives, because sometimes it's hard, let's remember David's story and that he was delivered and that we can be delivered also. Okay, and then Elder Garrett W. Gong, one of the apostles in our latter day, says, the Lord remembers and assures nations and peoples in these days of motion and commotion. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God, who guides the future as he has the past in perilous times. We remember that it is not the work of God that is frustrated, but the work of men. Quote. Love it. Elder Garrett W. Gong, always remember him. April 2016 General Conference. Okay. So that is it for Psalm chapter 20.